What's up, everyone? It's amazing how much bigger in body size deer are in the north compared to deer in the south. And I'm going to show you a quick clip from YouTube so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This is a clip from Canadian Whitetail in Northern Saskatchewan, which is pretty much as far north as you're going to get in the whitetails range. And this deer is an absolute giant. So I'm going to play this clip here so you can see it. The caption says, "Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of this Northern Saskatchewan tank." And honestly, he is looking like he's going in for a scrap. I don't know what's going on outside the frame over here, but you can see he's got his ears pinned back. He's all bristled up, his fur standing up. He's walking stiff-legged, kind of posturing a bit to the side to give himself a bigger appearance if he's walking onto you straight on. This is actually pretty funny with the music in the background. It's almost like he's walking out to a UFC fight. So this clip has been circulating some Facebook groups because this buck is indeed a tank. And he is an outlier in terms of size. They don't all get this big. But this is up north, relatively speaking, compared to where deer live. And when you get up to these latitudes and deer are able to grow into those upper age classes, this is definitely what you can see. This is definitely an older deer. You can tell by his well-developed shoulders. And then when you look at the bottom of his belly, you can see it's kind of dropped. If this was a younger deer, you would see his midsection kind of sweep up into his hips and he'd have sort of tighter hips and more of a racehorse appearance, but this guy's definitely filled out. And then of course, if you go back to the front, you can see his neck kind of goes down seamlessly into his chest. And then just his overall appearance, it can be kind of hard to tell with the vegetation in front, but you can tell this guy's got pretty stubby legs that look quite short for the rest of his body. All of these features peg this guy as a mature deer, and he's an absolute smasher. It's no coincidence that this buck is from Northern Saskatchewan, and this is the perfect place to talk about Bergmann's rule, which states that individuals of the same species are larger in colder environments. The pattern was first described in birds and mammals by a biologist named Carl Bergmann back in 1847. So basically, the farther you get from the equator, the larger the body size. And the explanation given by Bergmann was that larger body mass increases the volume to surface area ratio, which provides maximum metabolic heat retention. So basically, you can think of animals that live farther north or in colder environments to have a larger engine on the inside to produce heat, and also less surface area on the outside for the heat to escape. One thing that's important to keep in mind too is to remember when you're comparing deer body size to make sure you're comparing across equal age classes. So you obviously don't want to be comparing a yearling buck to a 5.5-year-old buck. And another consideration too is I think there's definitely regional factors that can influence deer body size. You know, things like soil quality, different types of habitats like agricultural areas compared to big wood settings, you know, deer densities, things that in general affect deer nutrition. Probably not so much genetics, which could be a whole other video in itself. But in general, it's hard to dispute that if you want the opportunity to hunt an absolute mega giant of a buck, you go north. That's probably why up north we usually go by body weight over antler score. And a perfect example of this is in Maine, where a patch buck is a buck that's over 200 pounds. And that's sort of the benchmark that everyone shoots for there. No pun intended. Anyways, if you're interested in this stuff, you should really YouTube Florida deer and then compare the deer down south to the deer in the video that we just watched. And it's quite crazy the difference in morphology between the two animals, even though they're the same species. And this video isn't meant to be a knock on southern deer or southern deer hunters. I mean, really, it's more of a compliment to deer as a species. I think it's pretty neat that deer can persist in so many different environments. from Florida, Texas, all the way up to Northern Saskatchewan and all the way across Canada, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. It's quite remarkable that a single species can be so widespread across the entire continent. So if you're still here, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Making YouTube videos and talking to a camera is way harder than I ever expected, so I'm open to constructive criticism. I also just got one of these, which is a entry-level DSLR camera, so I'm learning the ropes of photography, trying to get some pictures of deer. I think I'm going to need a better zoom lens, so we'll see how all that goes. So, alright guys, thank you. We'll chat next time.